네, 안녕하세요. 매일매일 운동하기를 실천하고 있는 동탄 왕호입니다. 오늘은 목요일이죠. 야간 출근 이틀차네요. 어제 첫날 너무 힘들었습니다. 힘들다기보다 너무 졸렸어. 오늘도 졸릴 것 같은데 내일 아침에 영어학원도 가고 스트레칭이랑 팔굽혀펴기 위주로 운동을 열심히 하도록 하겠습니다.
My two stores, and to complicate matters even further, they are in two different counties, and those counties have not adopted the new CDC guidance that your state has, at least not yet. How is that affecting your decisions about masks?
Well, on some level, it's made it easier for us than some other people around the country because the counties have both, at this point, not loosened the guidelines for indoor masking. They have loosened the guidelines for capacity limits and things like that. But right now, in both counties, you have to wear masks if you're in a store. So that makes it a little bit easier for us and for my employees because we can still blame the law on people who don't want to wear masks.
But if the counties say, we are going to lift this, where are you going to be then?
Well, that's going to be a little bit tougher. We have a wide array of customers. We sell high-end plastic models, which are an older crowd, and then we sell Legos and Brio trains and things like that, jigsaw puzzles that are a much younger crowd. One crowd possibly vulnerable, and the other group of people probably not vaccinated yet. So we'll continue to wear masks for some period of time after the guidance is lifted.
I mean, you're obviously worried that people who decide not to wear masks may actually be unvaccinated people. And Nancy, the governor in your state, lifted your state's mask ordinance back in April. You've continued to require masks in your store. Why?
That's correct. And the reason we're doing that is because our employee base is a young employee base. We range between 14 and 25, and they're a fabulous crew, and they're all in different stages of their vaccines right now, given that age range. And we're going to continue to require masks as much to protect them, in fact, more to protect them than to protect our customers. Our customers are very important to us, but we're continuing to require masks to protect that age group. That's a young, vulnerable age group. And until we're certain that everyone is vaccinated in that group, we'll continue to require masks. And we have three locations in a trailer, concession trailer, and we'll be masking right now indefinitely. We haven't chosen an end date yet.
Haven't chosen an end date. Have you, Nancy, had any run-ins with folks who don't want to wear masks?
Fortunately, no, not yet, and we're really hoping we don't. Ice cream is a happy business, and we've got these, it really is, which is one of the reasons we bought this. And, we've got this young, vibrant crew that's working there, and I really hope people are respectful. So as of last night, we still have had no incidents, despite our governor releasing the mandate back in April, and we've been fortunate. Fingers crossed.
Real quick, Mike, you had any run-ins?
Oh yeah, well, even at the height of the pandemic, at the peak of all peaks, when it seemed like people were dropping like flies, we had people trying to come in without masks. So we've had a few run-ins. It's not pleasant for anybody, but we've spent a lot of time with my managers and our associates. We have, again, like Nancy, we have a great crew. So we spent a lot of time talking about it and how to handle those people. But it's frustrating.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, they're both happy businesses, hobby building and ice cream, and we hope they remain so as you guys navigate these requirements. Mike Bray and Nancy Clark, thank you.
Thank you.
An anti-Asian hate bill will become law today. So why did 62 Republicans vote against it? We'll have the bill's sponsor joining us next.
Plus, a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas could be imminent. What's driving this possible de-escalation?
fascinated by my Italian heritage, so I'm traveling across Italy to discover how the food is as unique as the people and their past.
We're hungry, right?
Starving.
Come with me as I taste the flavors of the land and sea
Let's go fishing.
to discover what the food tells us about the people that craft it and its distinct regions. The maestro is making a pizza for me.
Oh, God. That's one of the best martinis I've ever had in my life.
If you don't believe in God, you believe in tortellini. It's like a religion.
Oh, wow. This dish tells a story.
Ciao, ciao.
It has survived the darkest of times.
That's the best sushi I've ever had.
A CNN original series, Stanley Tucci, Searching for Italy, premieres June 20th.
The big companies selling you your smartphones and electric vehicles are worth trillions of dollars. All those devices and cars have cobalt in them. But the people digging that cobalt out of the ground earn $1 or $2 a day. That's an injustice, that is modern slavery, and that cannot stand. My name is Siddharth Kara. I'm a British Academy Global Professor and an adjunct lecturer at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. For the last few years, I've been traveling to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and I've been researching cobalt mining. What I've seen in the Congo is hell on earth. There are children caked in grime and filth, digging in pits and tunnels to excavate cobalt-containing ore, and that ore gets processed and refined and sent up into the formal supply chain to smartphone makers and EV manufacturers around the world. I think the most important thing young people can do is to be aware of the fact that the children in the Congo scraping and scrounging for cobalt are directly touching their lives every day. And I think knowing that and spreading awareness of that is the most important first step. And awareness will lead to action.
I'm Pauline in Ottawa, and this is CNN.
We've missed the globe-trotting and adventures, and we're longing to get out and go. Uncovering the city's DNA. Meeting people who share its secrets.
What's gonna happen in a full Belgrade?
And making discoveries that wow.
Really is quite something to see.
It's a world of wonder. Now go and see it. Saturday on CNN in association with Turkish Airlines.
This afternoon, President Biden is expected to sign the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act into law. The legislation seeks to help fight anti-Asian hate in a year that has seen a spike in violence against the Asian American community. It passed the House with a vote of 364 to 62, with 62 Republicans voting against it. The bill's sponsor, Democratic Congresswoman Grace Meng, joins us now. And Congresswoman, this is a bill that you worked hard to get through. You will be there with the president when he signs it into law. What does that mean for you?
Well, we are very thankful that we were able to get this bill in such a bipartisan fashion, both on the Senate side and here in the House. And we are so thankful to President Biden, who really from day one of the start of his administration has heard the needs and the concerns and the pain of the Asian American community, and has not only expressed sympathy, but has taken action as well.
One of the things that I've heard from the Asian American community since March, since really this jump to the forefront is the feeling that it's a community whose concerns have been unheard for too long. How does this affect that?
Well, definitely. You know, the community has really been suffering from these increased types of incidents for over the past year and a half. We really feel like we've been screaming out into the darkness, especially with former President Trump, who not only didn't hear us and respond to our concerns, but continuously used words that were incendiary and just, you know, flamed the tensions and of bigotry. And so we are so thankful that Speaker Pelosi, Majority Leader Schumer worked so efficiently to get this legislation through. And of course, this is really helpful that we'll finally be able to get a more complete picture of what's going on in the country. So many of the statistics that you've heard have really been collected by one nonprofit organization, and we shouldn't have to rely on them to provide numbers for the entire country.
Right out of the gate, you praised the bipartisan nature of the vote, but 62 Republicans did vote against it in the House. 62 people didn't think that this bill was worthwhile. What does that tell you?
Look, there's been attention focused on the one member of the U.S. Senate, Mr. Hawley, who couldn't bother to vote for this. I can't explain his decision, or the Republicans who wouldn't vote for this. I mean, this is something that, contrary to what Leader McCarthy previously said, people around the kitchen tables in America are talking about this. Asian Americans and non-Asian Americans. And we also so appreciate the solidarity that has been demonstrated by so many people beyond the Asian American community.
One of the things that also happened yesterday was there was a resolution in the House to condemn the spa shootings in Georgia in March. And the Georgia Republican delegation largely voted against it. Voted against this opportunity to condemn those shootings in a specific way. Why? I mean, what's going on there?
Which was odd, because some of them even expressed condolences the night and the days after the tragedy had happened in Atlanta. Well, this is just one of many steps that we've seen the Republican Party take, where they're literally trying to rewrite history, whether it's this, whether it's with the vote on the January 6th commission. They're literally trying to erase and rewrite history.
Congresswoman Grace Meng, thank you for joining us this morning. I know this is a big day for you. You put a lot of work into this. I know this is something that many people in the Asian American community look like maybe as a turning point in focus in this country. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Disturbing new video shows Capitol Police being attacked during the insurrection. How the FBI is trying to hunt down the attackers.
And one House Democrat losing his cool after the majority of House Republicans voted against a commission to investigate the insurrection.
We have people scaling the Capitol, hitting the Capitol Police with lead pipes across the head, and we can't get bipartisanship.
We'll talk to him, Congressman Tim Ryan, joining us on New Day, coming up.
Curious about the landscape of my mind. Space does influence your behaviors and actions. It's all about a sense of awareness. I see and think in lines. It really helps me to go deeper into my consciousness. I was always curious about the space that I was creating on a two-dimensional surface, that I wanted to go physically inside. Certain sensibilities that I create within the work so that the viewers can also behave a certain way with their gestures to discover their stories within. And that, for me, is the greatest joy in working. That is my process.
This is CNN.
Making small changes to what you eat can help make big improvements to your life. So here are 3 healthy eating habits that can help you cut the bad by adding the good to your routine. To help cut the salt, look to add herbs and spices to get that flavor you crave. And research suggests that certain spices like cloves, cinnamon, and nutmeg contain nutrients that can help sharpen your memory and reduce stress. Try avoiding inflammatory foods. Those are junk foods like French fries, pastries, sodas, and red meat. Go for more anti-inflammatory foods like tomatoes and leafy greens. Remember, try to always have a glass of water with you to help quench your thirst. It can help you avoid sugary drinks and help you stay hydrated.
The world's biggest business stories in one place. Expert analysis from every corner of the globe. Marketplace Africa, all new Marketplace Asia and Europe.
Disturbing videos of Capitol rioters assaulting law enforcement officers during the insurrection on January 6th. And the FBI wants the help of the public in identifying the suspects in these videos. In one of them, you can see a suspect trying to rip an officer's gas mask off, then picking up a tactical baton and hitting officers with it. And then in another video, you can see a suspect punching officers while he is wearing gloves that have metal knuckles on them. Joining me now is CNN counterterrorism analyst and former FBI senior intelligence advisor, Phil Mudd. And I think, one of the things that strikes me, Phil, about these videos is we're here more than 4 months out from the insurrection, and we're still seeing these come to light.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things you got to think about, of all the agents and analysts working on this, my guess is most of them, maybe all of them, will never work on a case this complicated again. You're talking about 400 plus arrests so far. Multiply those arrests by interviews, re-interviews, cell phone searches, looking at people's laptops, then talking to their friends, family, co-workers. Man, that is a mountain of stuff to go through, Brown.
Multiple camera angles. I mean, there's think of all the video that they have, just countless hours. How important is the public's help going to be in this? That's why the FBI is putting this out.
You would be surprised at how important this is. You always think the FBI gets their man or woman. If you look at the most wanted list, you're talking about, if memory serves me, 30+% of the solutions in the most wanted list are people, friends, family, co-workers calling and saying, I know that person. There were a couple cases where people were on the FBI tour, in the FBI building, the Hoover building, not far from here, saw somebody on the most wanted list and said, I know that person. Case solved on the FBI tour. Unbelievable.
That speaks to how many people were involved as well, right? Okay, so I wonder, we see these videos, and I don't know how you look at them and say, that's not a big deal. I mean, clearly what's going on, the level of violence that we're seeing here and the fact that it's at the Capitol. How do you think some of the Republicans who are looking at this and basically lying about what it is, how do you think they're justifying that?
two ways. I mean, one of the things I learned when I was looking at cases for a lot of years is people persuade themselves of a parallel truth. We see this every day in life. I didn't do anything wrong today. Actually, you lied to your spouse today. That's wrong. So they're living in a universe where people around them are saying this didn't happen. But the other thing is, and we saw it in Republicans saying they don't want to vote for an investigation. We're investigated at the CIA after 9/11. That was us. The FBI was investigated after 9/11. One group was not questioned after 9/11 in the 9/11 report. Who was that? Congress. Now that the spotlight is on them, they're saying investigate us? No way. It's too painful.
What do you think about that? What do you think hearing these members of Congress, including now you have the Republican leaders, Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy, publicly expressing their support for police officers on one hand, but then on the other saying we're not going for this commission, or at least the signs in the Senate are that they are not.
You know, excuse me, but 400 plus people are arrested, including assault on a federal officer, and individuals died in this event. And members of Congress are saying, we prefer not only not to look at it, but we prefer to pretend to say it didn't happen. These are federal crimes, and the people responsible for passing laws in the U.S. say, on our turf, we don't want to answer questions about why that happened. You know how frustrating that is for somebody who was in the business and the people looking at it today? They're doing off-time, white-collar crime, counterterrorism, counterintelligence, chasing child molesters, and they got to go chase a bunch of people now who decided not to go to the circus that day and instead to do this. And the Congress says, we don't want to look at it. Incredible.
Bill, it is great to see you. I know that you have not actually, we haven't seen each other in person.
I'm back in 15 months. I feel like I need a cup of coffee to get energized.
We have that. We have all of the coffee.
Don't do the coffee. don't put coffee on top of that.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Bill, it's awesome to have you here. New revelations about some tense moments between then candidates Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, including, we should warn you, some expletives.
Plus, we'll talk to one House Democrat who just went off on Republicans for opposing the bipartisan commission to investigate the Capitol riot.
This is a slap in the face to every rank and file cop in the United States. If we're going to take on China, if we're going to rebuild the country, if we're going to reverse climate change, we need two political parties in this country that are both living in reality, and you ain't one of them.
Welcome to the perfect journey, where you feel your holiday has already begun. Where the dreamers can... Those with a taste for the finer things might... Or even... For the film lovers, the relaxers, sleepers, and the always connected. It's the details that make a journey perfect, but warmth and hospitality make it feel like home. Qatar Airways, going places together.
아이고 힘들어.
Living Golf, the crossover between the game and popular culture, featuring top names in entertainment and fashion.
That pursuit, knowing that, you know what, I've hit this shot before, I can do it again, that mentality is what keeps me completely enthralled in sport.
Plus, Christopher McDonald discusses his role in the hit movie Happy Gilmore.
Join me, Shane O'Donoghue, on this month's Living Golf.
Saturday on CNN, in association with Golf Saudi.